Welcome to the Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC. They'll help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you listen often, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Now, here's your host, four-time #1 best-selling author, speaker, and business coach, Holly Porter. Welcome to the Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC. They'll help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you listen often, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Now, here's your host, four-time #1 best-selling author, speaker, and business coach, Holly Porter.
Hello and welcome, everyone. We are excited that you are joining us today. It's a fall day here in Utah. I know everybody listens from all over the world, but we are here with another one of our new authors that will be in our 40/40 rules book, Wisdom from 40 Women Over 40. And Terica, she is going to be with us today. So Terica, welcome. How are you?
Hi, Holly. Thank you. Good to be here. And I'm enjoying the little bit of fall we're getting in Los Angeles, but not near what you get in Utah.
Yeah, like just before I had my event in September, I took a drive, like the day before, actually. It was kind of peaceful. And I've never been that late in the fall up the mountain. And oh my gosh, the colors, every color you could imagine was in it. Like every fall color you can picture. Purple, red, green, yellow, blue. I mean, you name it, it had it. It was gorgeous. I was like, I gotta come this week every year because it was perfect. But I know.
I remember you posted it and I was in awe.
Yeah, and the pictures didn't even do it justice.
Oh no, yeah, never do, right?
No, it was amazing. So, well, okay, I have a little info I want to share with our listeners on it. So a little history on Terica. She was a struggling single mom with a thriving professional career. And she realized she was emotionally, physically, and mentally bankrupt. Gosh, so many women can relate to this, I'm sure, and maybe a few men. It took you losing 2 loved ones in 9 days. Oh my gosh. So that was 9 days apart to realize that she just wasn't living her life. She wasn't even in the back seat. She was in the trunk. Oh.
I was.
So she's radically transformed her life by taking inspired action from that place of darkness. So now she shares these life lessons with other women so that they too can intentionally create the person they want to be and build the life they dream about living, like Terica has. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Holly.
That's awesome. And not that happening was awesome. I'm sure that was like the darkest hour of your life so far. Hopefully
It was, but I'm also grateful for it because it helped me see that changes need to be made, and it gave me the courage to make those changes and to really help me commit to me for the first time in my life. So although it was devastating and traumatic, I'm also so grateful for it because it changed my life.
It's sad that death does that sometimes. When my sister-in-law passed away in a car wreck, she was very young, and it's a long story, but we found when she was in 4th grade, she wrote her little dream list out of all these goals. And do you know everything on there had happened before she died?
Oh, amazing.
We just cried reading it. I mean, going to Hawaii, like things you're going to say as a kid.
Right.
Everything that was on that. It wasn't a huge list, but it was just like so sweet. And that it showed me what my brother said was, we did everything we wanted to. I have no regrets. And I'll never forget that. So
right.
How awesome is it to live your life that you can honestly say, I have no regrets?
Right. That's amazing. And just the satisfaction you have after losing a loved one to know that they had accomplished that, right? To know that list had been achieved. It makes it a little more peaceful.
Well, and my brother passed away 1.5 years after her in a really bad
crash.
So the fact that he said he had no regrets and that he'd done everything he wanted to, that made me happier.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, so I just think it's so powerful. It's so powerful. Well, so how long have you been an entrepreneur?
I just had my 1-year anniversary.
Really?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
It was a number of things. So the universe had been guiding me in that direction, shall we say, for years. I've had people telling me as far back as I can remember that I needed to get into the coaching realm, that I needed to be a life coach. I was always that person that people came to talk through problems, issues, confide in. And it wasn't really until I had transformed my life and then add to that moving to LA from a tiny little farm community in the Pacific Northwest to LA. And that really opened my eyes to the possibilities, right? That this is actually something I could do in LA. And so last year was a really, really big year for me. My daughter turned 18. I raised my daughter on my own. And so struggling single mom, right? And I raised her on my own. As she turned 18, she graduated high school, and I turned 40 all last year. And then add to that, the job that I moved to LA for only lasted a year. And so I picked up a contract gig, and my contract ended last October as well. And so it was just all the universe just laying out this path, all of these, signs. And when that contract ended last October, earlier than originally anticipated, I just said, okay, universe, I hear you. It's time. It's time. And so that's what led me to making the decision not to pursue another job in corporate and to start building my own dream.
Well, it's a big shift going from corporate to having your own business. Like, that's huge. Congratulations.
Huge. Yeah. Over 20 years in corporate. So yeah. It has been quite an adjustment, but I've learned so much, and I've been so challenged through this process, which has just led to lots of lessons, right?
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Well, so how do you feel about it so far? Like, do you feel like, yes, it was the right thing to do, or, oh crap, what did I do? Or where are you at with that?
Every day it's different, Holly. The life of an entrepreneur, right? So yes, in my gut, I know it was absolutely the right decision, but being an entrepreneur is difficult at times, right? And there's times where you just want to go, oh, it'd be so nice to go back to that secure corporate job. But I know that's not for me, and I know that's not how I'm meant to serve. And so I just keep reminding myself of that this is the path I'm meant to be on.
Right.
And again, the universe keeps reminding me that I'm on the right path. And so I'm listening to those whispers. And yeah, but there are absolutely days where you just think, oh, it'd be nice to go back to that security, but at what cost, right?
I know. Well, I don't know. I haven't really ever experienced that much. I've always been an entrepreneur, and I've always been married to entrepreneurs for the most part. So it's like, you just you get paid when you get paid, you got to create your own paycheck. And yeah, and that being able to have some benefits, I wouldn't even know what that's like.
Right.
Yeah. It would be hard, I think, to have that and then not have that, that would be, a huge challenge. So
definitely adjustment
about what you do.
I think my favorite part is really, it's watching people transform their lives. It's watching people accomplish things that they didn't think were possible before, watching people step outside their comfort zone, take risks, try new things, and see those aha moments.
Yeah, that's true. Can you think of a story that you want to share with us at all? Something maybe of your own or of somebody else's that, that's kind of made you, make you or break you?
There are a lot. It's hard to come up. Yeah, make or break. There have been a few that have, tried to break me, almost broken me, in my personal life. But I once mentored a guy who was young and grew up in a very, very difficult area of LA. Lots of gangs, lots of violence, and he had a dream, and he'd had a dream since he was young to help his community and serve his community and help make it better and safer for other youth. And so his dream was to become a California highway patrolman. And it is not easy to become a California highway patrolman. They put you through rigorous tests and background checks. And they even, I mean, they talk to people from your childhood that you don't even remember, elementary school teachers. I mean, it's crazy. I totally appreciate the process, but I was blown away by the depth. And there were moments through that his resolve wavered. He wondered, should I pursue this? Should I do this? What if I try and they reject me? What if I fail, right? So that fear of failure, of not being welcomed, accepted, not achieving his dream, almost held him back, almost prevented him. And so I coached him through that process, and I'm so happy to say that today he is a California highway patrolman, and he's living his dream. And this is something that he'd been working on since he was literally a teenager, had wanted to do this and had been pursuing that and taking steps, working with their, they have a program called the Explorer program, where as a youth you can go on ride-alongs and be mentored and, take part in that. And so his goal is to serve and then to also create an Explorer program in his community. So it's just one example, but yeah.
I am familiar with that process. My son got accepted just to, not the Highway Patrol, but the police academy in Las Vegas. And he was just getting ready to go. And they did some mental thing. Like they were there like 10 hours and just like told him all the worst and the horrible and all this stuff. And it brought up every fear for him. But as it was heartbreaking to have him come to me, and it was like, do I wear my mom hat or my coach hat? Like which hat do I wear? Because I feel like he needs a mom right now, but he also needs to hear what I would tell someone else, And so I did a little of both, but he just said, you know what, this isn't the life I wanted. He's in the military, but he's in the reserves and National Guard. So yeah.
Okay.
And he's always been that type of a kid. He'd be great. And I mean, they should be honored to have him, but I think he just thought, I don't want that. I don't want to be married to that. Like it's a job all the time. And I think mentally it's hard, and on your family it's hard. And so I respect anyone that could go through that, because inside as the mom, I'm like going, yes, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. You're right.
The military was enough for me. And
right.
He's my baby of 8. So it's like, a little more tender, but yeah. And he just decided not to do it. So yes, that's good for you though, that you were able, because that was his dream. I think my son could have went either way, but I think I was glad that they did what they did, because he needed to go through, he could have handled it, but it was good they did that. So yeah.
It's a grueling process.
Well, it's kind of like, it's almost like, I look at it as like you talk them off the ledge, like that comes up and they're on the ledge and you got to talk them down, and it's as a coach, that's such a good feeling to have, to know that you have the skills, and hopefully you do have the skills if you're coaching,
Right.
I don't mean you, I mean in general, just
no, but in general, yeah.
That you really need to investigate any coach that you hire, because I'm an advocate for coaches, and first of all, I would say don't ever hire a coach that doesn't have a coach, because if they're not willing to invest in themselves and they think they're better than that, everybody needs a coach. You just need to up level your coaches all the time.
Because I mean, on the flip side, I could have let my fears for him be spoken. Right. I could have said, well, your life's going to be on the line and they're going to grill you and they're going to put you through this process. Like, it would be easier just to keep a corporate job and, be safe, and it'd be a lot easier. Right. I mean, I could have coached him through from that point of view, but that's not serving him.
Right. Yeah. And
that would not have been in his best interest.
But you knew him, and you knew what his dream was. And that's the difference, I think, is that when you have one-on-one coaching with somebody, you need to know your client. Like you need to understand what motivates them. Like some of them you could like totally get on, and others it would break their heart,
Right.
And so I think you knew that. And I think that's great. That's the sign of a good coach. And I'm sure he's going to be forever grateful to you as well.
Yeah. Great
story. I like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's great. So what holds for the future, like of the book? I'm going to say, no offense to anyone else listening, but Terica was the favorite author of the editor, I will say. So, and I'm not the editor, by the way. I'm just repeating what I heard, that was her favorite chapter. She loved, all the wisdom she had. And the book is about wisdom. It's not about success or entrepreneurship or corporate, whatever. It's about wisdom. And as I've said before, any woman that's lived 40 years or more, they have a little wisdom, or a lot.
Just a little.
Yeah. So what made you motivated to want to be part of that project?
Writing a book has been on my bucket list for a while. I have been through a lot. I have a lot of stories and life lessons. And I always look at opportunities like this, whether it be coaching or this book, as an opportunity to share those lessons. I'm 100% transparent, open, willing to be vulnerable, and share my most epic failures and greatest life lessons, in the hopes that they can help someone else. I love the quote that a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others, right? Like, I want to help people not have to make a lot of the same mistakes that I did. And so a book's always been on my bucket list. And when you and I chatted and I found out about this opportunity, it was a no-brainer for me. This was the perfect opportunity to step into that world that I'd been wanting to for a while and just hadn't.
Yeah. Well, did you read my post I put, in this day and age, ignorance is a choice? Like, there's so much information and help out there. There is no reason why we need to struggle.
Right.
I mean, really. And if you are struggling, there's help, like tons of it,
Right.
everywhere. And so figure out what level of help you need and get it. Like, it can be at your fingertips, right? There's just so much stuff and there's a lot of free and paid, I mean, I'm not saying you get what you pay for sometimes, but there's a lot of great content out there for free as well. But when you up level and you really step up your game, to me, it's the investment you need to make in yourself.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of my initial coaches and mentors don't even know that they've played a role in my life. Right. And it's because there were books I read, or they were podcasts I listened to, or, I lost the other word, like interviews, TED Talks. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, yeah.
They don't even know that they've played a part. Right. But all of that content is out there, and you just need to find what fits with you. Right.
Well, and on the flip side, if you're a person that has a message to get out there, get your butt out there and get it done,
Right.
Apply for the TED Talk, apply for the podcast, do your own podcast, like whatever, get out there and do that, because what you just said could be something that they would change another person's life doing.
Right. Right.
So there's a flip side to that for sure. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I hadn't really thought that out like that, but I love it. Well,
yeah, I mean, people think, well, I can't afford a coach. Well, I couldn't afford a coach when I started either, but I found other resources until I could hire a coach, right? There's still options out there for you to be learning and growing and taking steps down that path. Like, there are options there. You just have to be resourceful and find them and build towards hiring that coach.
Yeah. Well, and I heard it explained one time, like, it's like dating. You're spending a little bit while you're dating, but you spend a lot when you end up getting married. So,
Right.
Start with somebody and get their little teaser program and start small and make sure you like them. Because I've invested tens of thousands of dollars with people, and then they haven't turned out to be my best coaches, or I've outgrown them very quickly. And there's always value in everything you do, or there's the lesson, right? And some of them have been lessons for me, and expensive lessons. And so, you can always figure out, I think once you figure out what you want, then get it, but if you don't know what you want, try on a few things that either are at no cost or low cost.
Yeah. And I agree. I have made the bad coach hire as well, which is a huge financial loss. But in looking back, it was a lesson I needed to learn. I did not make sure that coach's values were in line with my values. And
Absolutely.
So that is now something that I am super conscious of, and I vet them very thoroughly and check out their social media, check out their offerings. I do my homework now, right? Because I learned from that initial lesson. in realizing, oh, their values don't match with mine. This was a mistake.
And I know a lot of people are going to like what I'm saying here, what I'm going to say about that. When you check out their social media, like, do they run double lives? Because my social media is so transparent that it's everyone's on it. You know what I mean? If I just started a separate page because it was an old page. I just kind of re-upped because I was at 5,000 people, you know, and I love relationships, but it's like, I still put pictures of me with my grandkids on there. I mean, I'm just not weird that way. Like, I feel like, yes, you got to be safe, but it's like what you see me do on Facebook is what you're going to see me do in real life, because
it's me.
Authentic. Yes. And when people say, oh, I've blocked, like, I have 126 people I've blocked on my Facebook account. Why do you have to block? Why are you living your life that you have to block so many people out of your life? Like, I guess I don't get that. So it just seems strange. I know people aren't going to like hearing that because there are a lot of people that do it, but yeah, live your life that you can be, your business and your personal. I don't feel like they have to be so separate that I have different friends. I feel like my business friends and my friends are all my friends, you know. That's how I like to live my life. So.
Well, and your social media is an accurate representation of you, like who authentic Holly is, right? Like, I know how much your grandkids and your kids mean to you, right? If you weren't posting them, I would go, Holly's not being very authentic.
Right.
Because I know how much they mean to Holly.
And I have the other things I posted. I haven't posted about them lately, you know. Oh, dear.
But you know what I'm like, that lets me know who Holly is, right? At the core. What's important to Holly? Are Holly's values in line with my values? Like, family is one of my top values. So, okay, Holly's, you know, that's one of Holly's top values too. Like, I'm going to look at those things when I look at social media, when I vet coaches.
Well, and when I get a friend request, what's the first thing I do? I go check out their social media posts. I want to know, like, I look at like the last week, what did they post?
I do too. That's so funny.
Then I feel like they're just stalkers of everybody else. If they're on there too much, then I'm like, oh, they're going to be annoying. You know, I mean, I think of those things when I accept people as friends. And then if they, I don't know, if they post a bunch of, am I going to say, they post things that I'm not aligned with, I'm like, I don't really want to be friends with someone like this.
Right. No, I'm very, very strategic about who is on my social media feed as well. It matters.
It does matter. Well, okay, so we just got another minute or so. What words of wisdom can you share on this podcast to our listeners of how they can get well, I can't even speak. Get in contact with you. We'll post your bio and your, you know, whatever information you want down below. But how can they get a hold of you?
I'm on social media, of course, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I have a Twitter profile. I don't really use it. My website is tericawright.com. However, it is currently being rebuilt, so it's under construction. I'm getting it ready for some freebies, and guess what? The book.
Yay!
So I'm doing some major upgrades to that here in the next couple of weeks, so it'll be back online shortly. But social media, I'm on social media. I post, a number of years ago, I'm such an empath and intuitive, and energy plays a critical role in my everyday life. And I was noticing a number of years ago that social media was pulling me down. And so that's one of the reasons, like I said, I'm very strategic about who is on my social media feed and why I investigate people before I accept their friend request. But with that, I also made a decision to commit to being a positive force on social media. So every day, first thing in the morning, I post positivity, whether it be something funny or motivational, inspiring, but that's my mission every day, is to post positivity on social media. So I'm always on there.
I love that. I started doing that when I ran for political office, and it's been like 8 years. No one will see crap. I mean, the worst thing I sent was the fax thing. That's like the most negative, and that was slap.
But that was hilarious.
Yeah. What did it say? Fax me over your offer. What did I say? Let's see. Fax me over your offer, and I said, I don't have a fax where I live. Where do you live? In 2018.
Yes.
Like, seriously. Anyway.
Yeah.
But you'll get the truth from me for sure. But I'm not about the negative and the drama. No.
Yeah. Same.
Had enough of that in high school. Don't need that anymore, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's been a joy having you on, and I know our time goes by so fast.
It
As I
did.
said it would. It does. It goes by. But I hope listeners got to know you a little better, and they'll be able to read all of your wisdom in the book coming out November
So
29th.
excited.
So we'll be launching that for 99 cents on Amazon. So watch for that. It'll be coming shortly. It's coming soon, faster than I probably think, right?
Yes.
So yep, we'll be happy to have the volume 2 of the 40/40 rules out, and Terica will be one of our authors in there. So have a blessed day, everyone, and thank you, Terica, for being our guest. And we will see you next time on the podcast.
Thanks, Holly.
Thanks. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC, helping you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you enjoyed our time together, and we'll visit again soon. You can learn more about Prosperity Profilers by going to hollyporter.com.